Well, I first heard about Read Georgia at one of the Georgia WMU annual meetings in Warner Robins. And then I attended an informational meeting that Fairburn Association had with Lorna Bias, where she emphasized Read Georgia as one of the initiatives of Mission Georgia. And when Lorna shared that 48 out of 100 elementary school children are behind on their reading skills, and that 1 out of 19 high school graduates in the state of Georgia cannot even read, and even closer to home in Fayette County, 35 out of 100 children are behind on their reading skills, and that if these children don't catch up by the time they're in the 4th grade, it will affect them for the rest of their lives. And I just, as a lifelong reader, enjoying reading, having parents and grandparents that and teachers that loved reading and taught me to read, I just felt like that this would be a wonderful opportunity for Flat Creek and other churches to minister to these children in the schools, to help them educationally, but also be able to minister to them, perhaps the school staff, and these children's families, and by helping their children, being able to show the love of Jesus to all of them. There are several ways that people can volunteer to help with Read Georgia. Right now, Flat Creek has about 30 volunteers. About 25 of those have taken the Read Georgia training and have done the paperwork that's required by the Fayette County schools and are ready to mentor the children. There are some other volunteers who are not able to do that, but they have volunteered to help when we have the family celebrations, to celebrate the children and the strides that they have made, and at that time we'll be able to share the gospel with these families. Well, one thing that was the most surprising to me, as I indicated, was the number of volunteers that came forward and how excited they have been about Read Georgia. Well, I guess the hardest thing is I was not prepared for such a large group of volunteers, and that shows how small my faith was. But sometimes I tell this group that it's like herding cats.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
To try to get together for a meeting or to do the necessary paperwork and organizing that we need to. But we've been able to break up into smaller meetings. We do a lot of emailing and a lot of texting, but everyone has just been wonderful with that. And then of course there's coordinating with the schools. They have a lot of things they have to do to get permission from the parents and get all of us in the system that we have, are good volunteers for a fit for their students. Well, the first thing, of course, is to pray about it and make sure that this is a ministry that you feel like that God is leading your church to participate in. And then talk to your pastor and all of your staff and give them the information about Read Georgia if they don't already know it, and see if they feel like that it's a good fit for your church, and then enlist your volunteers. Just have some informational meetings, put some information out so they would know what Read Georgia is, since it's a relatively new program. There's certainly enough churches in Fayette County to meet a great number of needs. We have 14 elementary schools all over this Fayette County, and we have enough churches close enough to those schools that we could help them with their reading skills, as well as the other counties that are in our association have the same situation. I read an article recently about a dear 85-year-old lady. Her name was Emily, and she ministered to people in her community through cooking. And they were interviewing her, and she said that every morning she gets up and she prays, God, lead me to one needy soul today. And then I go and I put my pot on the stove. And I thought that was so applicable to what we do in our community. If we just pray that God will lead us to someone or to a ministry opportunity, but then we need to go and put the pot on the stove and do what He tells us to do.